Hello, welcome to this video. So we've been cloning the Mozilla official website for the sake of learning HTML and CSS, and this will be the last video where we're going to be cloning this particular website. So if you're new here, I wanted to know that this is actually a series. We have so many videos and I want you to go watch those videos before watching this one so that you would be in line with what we're doing. If you're new here, you should also consider subscribing to our channel because it goes a long way in helping us. And if you watch this video and actually like what we're doing, please place a like to this video. That being said, let's get started with the code. Welcome back. So this is what we've done so far, and this is the original Firefox website. Did I say Firefox? I meant to say Mozilla. This is the original Mozilla website, and this is our cloned Mozilla website. So we actually still have some things that are not really looking exactly the same. Like over here, we have Mozilla. There is actually no I in Mozilla over here, but I am not going to correct that because it's actually a mistake though, but I'm not going to correct it because I don't even want the site to look exactly the same. So it will be so obvious that there's a fake website anyways. But this whole idea about this is for you to learn CSS, learn how to use the CSS selector to style things, and we've been doing just great with that. So now let's move down to our code. Before then, this is what we'll be doing. I've said it before that we're just going to be creating just this part of the website and not the whole website like this. So the next part is for us to create these two parts of the website, that is this video and this picture. So when you're going to do that, they have some text beneath them. So we're also going to add in this text. So let's do this quickly. Now back to our code, we noticed in our HTML, we notice we have this div here that we've never used. We just have its written content over there. So that's what we have. We're going to be placing it over here. So let's get started with this. I'll remove the content, and over here I'm going to place two divs inside our already existing div. So I'm going to give this a class of main. I'm going to call the class name main. I'll copy this class name, go to our styles.css, move over to the end of it, and I'm going to assign a new CSS properties to this now. So I'm going to give this a display of flex. I'm going to give this a display of flex, and I'm going to also say the padding. I did all this in the last video, so I believe by now we know what these things are, what they mean. So I'm going to say the padding should be 0 at the top and bottom, and it should be 20% at the right and left. So I'm going to say the box sizing should be border box. Remember, I said it in the last video that when we do add a padding to the width, by default, this actually has a width of 100% by default. But let me just assign that over here. So the width is actually 100%. Adding 20% to 100% at both sides, the left and right, would make it a total of 140%, which is already more than the screen width. So box sizing is actually saying that no matter how long the original width is, I just want you to maintain 100%. That's what box sizing does. So, and when we say border box, it means we should use the border box, and the border box is 100%. So I'm going to save this now, and we'll go back to our HTML, and we'll say this is the first div, and this is the second div. So let's just save these, come over here, and let's refresh this. Now we can see we're having this side by side, and we want to separate them. But this time around, we notice that this is actually longer than this. So let's just assume we're not really measuring here, but let's just assume that this is 60% and this is 40%. But I'm not going to be giving them 60-40 because I wanted to have a space between. So I'm just going to be giving these 59-39 like that. So here I'm going to say class. I'm going to say this class is video, and I will call this class image 2. I already have image 1 in the previous video, so I'm calling this image 2 now. So I'll take the video class, I'll go over to my CSS file, and I'll style it again. So I'll say this video should have a width of 59%, and I'm going to save that, and then I'll say my image 2, come here, image 2 should have a width of 39%. So I'm going to save this, come over here, refresh this, and we can see that they're both appearing side by side. So let's see what we have here. We actually have a kind of a spacing between this and this. So we're going to do that right now. So we'll go back to our main, and we're going to add a margin top, and our margin top is going to be, I'll give it a random value of 50 pixels, and we'll come here, we'll refresh this, we can see we have a space between it now. So after that, we are going to add our video to the very first div over there. So if you remember, when we're talking about HTML, we actually discussed on how we could add video to our HTML website. So here I'm going to say video, and this is it here. I'm going to say the source of this video is from here. I could actually do it this way, but I'm not going to be adding my video in this way. If you want to learn how to add video this way, please go watch the channel over here, the video over here. I actually taught that while I was discussing about HTML, but this is not how I'm going to be adding my video. Reason being that this video over here is actually a YouTube video, so I don't want to we can't add a YouTube video using that particular method of adding video. We can only embed a YouTube video to our website. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. So we wouldn't be doing this whereby we click on this and we have this pop-up showing the video. We are not going to be doing that. We're just going to be showing the video over here. And the reason why we won't be doing that is because this needs JavaScript to function, and we are yet to learn JavaScript, so we don't have the knowledge of how to do that now until we learn JavaScript. So that's just it. Okay, let's go on with this. So I actually have this video on YouTube over here, so I'm just going to share it, and I'm going to click on embed, and over here I can just copy the embedding code from over here. So I'll go back to my code, and I'll remove this video here, and I will paste the embed code. I'm going to paste the embed code I copied from YouTube, and I'll save this now, come over to my website and refresh, and we are going to see that I have this video over here now. So this video is kind of looking a bit too small to me. I wanted to take 100% of the width of this particular div. That is, we remember that this div is 60% or 59% rather, but I wanted to take 100% of this div. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this width and height over here, and I'm going to replace it with a CSS styling. So I'll come over here and I'll say class, and I'm going to call this YouTube. Going to call this YouTube, and I'll come to my CSS here and I'll say .youtube, And then I'll say the width of this should be 100%, and the height should just be auto, and the height should be auto. So I'm going to save this and I'll refresh this now. So we can see that the width is now taking the full width, but our height is not taking the real height over there. So I'm going to give it a height now, but this time around I would like to check the height that the video came with initially. So the video initially came with 315 pixel as the height. So I'm going to be using that same value, but I'll just increase it a bit to 320 pixels. So I'll save this and refresh this page, and we can see what we have over here. It's still not high enough for me, so let me change this to 350 pixels and see what if that would be better. Appearing to be better. So I'm just going to use my developer tool to give this a specific width over here. So I'm selecting the iframe, and let me expand this a bit so we can have more view area. So I'm going to take this down because I actually want to see so many things at the same time. I'm not sure you can see this again. Let me increase it a bit. Now it's too much. Okay, I think it's just fine this way. So I'm going to take this down and let me inspect this element now. Over here, I actually want to see the iframe. So good. So the iframe is actually over here, and this time around I want the height to be, let's keep it at, let's say 360. Let's say 365 would be good for it. So let's put it here. 365 would just be good. So we go 365. So let's save this. Let's close our developer tool, and that's just great. So we've added our video to this particular web page. So the next thing for us to do now is, if you look carefully, we actually have a kind of a border surrounding this, but that border only appears when we hover over this particular div. So we're going to be adding that very soon, but for now I want us to add this text over here. So I'm just going to copy this text. So I would say, okay, I don't have copy link text over here, so I'm just going to copy it like this. I'll come here to the HTML, and after this iframe here, I'm just going to be adding another div, and I'll add this text. So the texts are actually in two parts. This one is bolder than the other one, so I'm just going to make another separation of concern. I'm going to add another div, put the text there, and I would cut this, make another div, and put the text over there. So now that I have done that, I can easily style these two texts now. So I can say that I could just call this class name, I could call it title, or let me call it video title. So I would say v title, and over here I could give it a class name, and I'll just a long text, long text. So I'm going to copy this now, go to my CSS, and I'm going to style this up. So I could say here that the font width is going to be 700, and the font size is, if you observe, I'm actually not typing this completely. I just go FO for font and S for size, and my IDE auto completes it for me. So I'm not sure if this is available in all IDE. Just in case you've observed me doing this, I just felt I should let you know how it works. So I go font size, and I would say my font size should be I'm just going to use larger. No, and let me use another unit. So I'll say 2 rem should be my font size. Now I'll save that, and now I'm going to style my long text as well. Looking at this, long text looks almost like a regular text. So I'll come here and I'll go this way, and I would say that my font size should be 1 rem, 1 rem. So that's been set there. I'm going to come over here. Let's see if there's any other thing for us to do. So I can see this icon, but I won't be adding it. And later we might be talking about how we can add icon. So when we save this, we'll go over here and we can see what we have when we refresh this now. So we could see our text and our second text over here. Now we're going to add that border around it whenever we hover over it. So we'll come here and we're going to give this div a particular class name. So we're going to give it a class name and we'll call it, let's just call it big div. So we'll call this big div. In reality, you might want to give this a better name. And we'll come here. I would call this big div now. And I would say big div should just have a padding. I just want to give it a padding of about 10 pixels. And its box sizing should be border box. And now I'm going to say big div hover. Now, do you remember hover? We actually did it when we made use of the hover before in our previous video. So the hover, whenever we hover over big div, we're going to say that we want the border to be a gray color, and we want it to be a solid border, and we want it to have 2 pixels in width. So I'm going to save this now and come over here, refresh this. We could see everything is good. And now when we hover over this div, we could see the border. But this is not where we want it. We actually want it across the video and the text. So what we're going to do now is that we'll remove this from here. We'll cut it out and we're going to place this here. Sorry, we take this, we cut this out, we'll remove the class name, and we're going to add it to the video over here. So I will save this now, and we'll refresh. We can now have this. Now you can see over here. So we have the border displaying over it. So we can see that the color is not actually the same over here, and it has a round edge. So we're just going to do that quickly now. We are going to do that here. So we're going to say that the color of our border shouldn't be this dark. It should have this color, and we're going to select that color, and it should be like 5 pixels, and this pattern here should be like 15. And in this case, whenever we hover, we're also going to say that the box sizing should be about the box as well. So let's see what this will look like now. We'll refresh this, and now we can see this. So we're yet to give this a round end. So we're going to say border radius. Border radius is, let's just say, 3 pixels. So we'll refresh this now, and we could see that it has a bit of round end, but I think making it a kind of 8 pixels may just be better off. We'll refresh this, and we come over here, so we could see the round end now. So now that we've done that, we'll just need to add this image over here, and we're actually going to use same class for the borders as well. So let's do that quickly. So we're going to come over here, I'm just going to leave a space there and remove the sec, and now I'm going to add an image. So for my image source, I'm going to be copying the source of this image, copy image address. Okay, this is what I want, copy image address. So I'll click on that, I'll come here, I'll paste this, and I'm going to say the alt text is a woman. So that's nice. So I would come over here and I'll refresh this. So now you can see we have this image here, but we don't really have any text under the image. So I'm going to say, just going to copy this text here. Going to copy the text, and I'll come over here, I'll make a div, and I'll place the text there. So just like before, I'm just going to copy what I have over here, because I'll be using same styling for it to make this quicker. And I'm going to copy this text now, and I'll place it here, and I'll copy this other text, and I'm going to place it here. And I'm going to place it here. So I'll just remove this extra spacing. So we've done that now, and the image div, I'll copy it. Now that I'm using this class here, I can also use it here, and we're going to have some results. So come over here, refresh this, and this is what we have. Okay, our image is actually not well aligned. It's not well aligned in this case. So we have to style our image. So to style our image, we need to add a class, and we'll say that our image, I'll call this woman image img. So I'll copy this now, go to my styles, and I will say that this here should be, the image should have a width of 100% and a height of auto. So come here, refresh this, and now we can see, you can see this over there. So it's actually appearing, it's actually better now. So this is actually 60%, but I just feel like making this to be 30% and this should be 70%. So I'm going to change that now. Looking over here, we have the video. So the video should be, in this case, 69, because I like leaving a space. And here should be 29. So I'm going to save this now, refresh this, and I think I prefer it this way now. So this is it. We're just going to make some little cleanup, and the number one cleanup I want to make is this space over here. So by default, HTML body tag actually comes with some sort of margin of padding. So we're going to remove that right now. So I would just like to do this at the top here. So I'm going to use the element selector body to select that, and I'm going to say that the margin all over should be 0. I also want the padding all over to be 0. And when I save this, I come over here, this won't show up anymore. So we can now see we've eliminated that extra spacing by the side. So this is now really looking exactly like the Mozilla website, but we have actually used the Mozilla website to learn how to do so many things with CSS. So I'll just give a quick recap of the things we've learned. We've actually learned inline styling with CSS. We've learned how to place the styles of our CSS in the head part of our HTML. We've learned how to put the CSS in another file. We've also learned how to select elements in different ways, by the class name, by the ID, by the element name itself. We've learned so many things. We've learned CSS hover effect, which we actually used here, and we used it here as well. So you can see that not this is not our site. I almost got confused. So you can see it is actually different on ours, and if you have more time, you can still play with this to make this to be a perfect website as well. So we've learned hover effect with things like this. We've learned how to change our mouse cursor. So this is now showing as a pointer. Same thing here. We learned hover effect. We also learned a bit about CSS flex as well. We learned how to make a navigation. We actually create this thing that looks like an image. We created ourselves using CSS as well. So we learned lots and lots of things by making a clone of the Mozilla official website. So if you like this video, please give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we would be rolling out more videos. And this is not the end of our CSS video. We're not moving to JavaScript yet. We're still going to teach some other little things about CSS as well before moving over to JavaScript. And after we're done with CSS, we'll move to JavaScript, and that's going to be the end of this particular series. And in this channel, we do make other kind of videos. You can check out my channel for all the kind of videos that are not really HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. So just subscribe to our channel to get updates on our videos, and don't forget to click on the bell icon over there. If you have any question concerning the clone of this website, just write it down on the comment box, and I'm going to do so well to answer every single question. So I'm so excited that we are finally done with this, and I'm going to see you next time. For now, goodbye.